continuing our series of Through the Desert, how God takes us through the wilderness of life. And one of the easiest things that can happen to all of us is we lose hope. When we wander, and yet even though we know God has a plan, God has a destination, the desert can be tough. And there's different kinds of deserts, and that's what each week parallels. How there's different hard moments in life, and we see this in the life of the Israelites and through Moses. In the first week, we saw Moses being lost in the wilderness because of sin and his own choices. God didn't bring him out there, he brought himself. And in the second week, we were seeing how deserts can be necessary to test our faith and be the path to the promise. That we ended up in a desert, a hard place, not because we've done something wrong, but because we followed God. And whether that could be job loss, financial hardship, health issues, we are following God the best we can, and we still end up in this tough season. This week, we're following the Israelites into the next wilderness after they leave, and we'll see how that parallels our lives today. So if you remember, they left the oasis of Elim after looking for water. They found water both supernaturally in Marah and then naturally in Elim. Now they were upset. They were tired of wandering. They were tired of being in this desert. Now keep in mind, they were not lost. God was leading them. Moses was leading them. And they had a definitive, real destination into the land of their forefathers. And so it's easy for us, again, to be tired. I'm tired of being in this desert. Do we give up and go back to Egypt into captivity? Or do we press on? Well, let's see what God does in Exodus 16, 1 through 3. It says, "And they set out from Elim, and all the congregation of the people of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai. And on the 15th day of the second month, after they had departed from the land of Egypt, and the whole congregation of the people of Israel grumbled against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the people of Israel said to them, 'Would that we would have died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by meat pots and ate bread to the full. For you have brought us out into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger.' So they leave the oasis, and they're no longer thirsty. That need has been met, both supernaturally and naturally. Then they come to the wilderness of Sin. Now, sin here is not the same word you probably thought of when you heard it. Sin is a location. The Hebrew word for sin is chet. That's not the word here. This is just east of Egypt, just past Elim. So a few days' journey on the way to the promised land. And now they were freed from captivity. And they were still second guessing, should I be following God? God sent us these two people, these two men, and they are bringing us out to a desert to die. They couldn't see the promised land, and they didn't necessarily know it existed. They had to take that on faith. But the one they followed did. Moses knew where he was going. He knew where God was bringing him. So they had every reason to trust, just like you and I. I may not always know exactly where I'm going, but I can trust God. I have a good reason to put my faith in him even when things are tough. They had seen him do this, yet they grumbled against him anyway. But here's what God is saying. He didn't bring them out of captivity in Egypt into the wilderness to die. And obviously we're speaking about this specific desert in the specific wilderness, right? We will all die eventually. But what this is saying is there are these seasons where it seems like we're never going to make it out. No matter what we do, more hardship comes. God didn't bring us out there to die. He brought us maybe out of a land of sin, and we expected to already be in the promised land. Instead, we're walking through wilderness after wilderness. Why? Because they longed for comfort and plenty. And the idea of chasing comfort at all cost is very destructive to the human soul. It is not bad to have nice things. It's not bad to have comfort or anything like that. Literally, God is bringing them to a land to establish comfort and provision. But can I trust him in the waiting? We live in a world of immediate gratification. Part of the reason we can grumble against God is because we have lost the ability to wait on him, or wait on anything for that matter. What did they say? We had meat and bread in Egypt. sin, the bondage of sin, not the wilderness they were in, gave immediate gratification. Sin gives us immediate gratification, right? If it wasn't fun, nobody would do it. But waiting on the Lord requires me to put that aside. Say, God, I trust you, even though right now I'm not happy. But what were their cravings? Food and water. God had already provided that. But it was not as satisfying as when they were in Egypt, when they were in slavery. That's really important. If we want to satisfy ourselves in natural things, find all of our comfort in the natural things, we might not find God as satisfying. Not that God doesn't work in the natural or do natural things for us. Not that God doesn't give us food and water and clothing. But the thing he offers is supernatural. And until I'm willing to be content in him and in that, I will look back at all the comfort my vices used to bring me and miss them and long for them. And what do they say? We wish we would have died by the hand of the Lord in Egypt. He should have just killed us with the Egyptians. Here's the thing. When we lack trust, we will automatically lack gratitude. We'll miss the old life. At least I used to enjoy going out and drinking. I used to enjoy all these things. Right now, I'm not happy in this wilderness that God has brought me to. Folks, they weren't meant to be happy. They weren't meant to find the supernatural they weren't meant to find a natural satisfaction. They were meant to find a supernatural one. So this is how God responds to their grumbling. Verse 4. Then the Lord said to Moses, Behold, I'm about to rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, that I may test them, whether they walk in my law or not. And on the sixth day, when they prepare what they bring in, it will be twice as much as they gather daily. So Moses and Aaron said to all the people of Israel, At the evening you shall know that it is the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt. And in the morning you shall see the glory of the Lord, because he has heard your grumbling against the Lord. For what are we that you grumble against us? And Moses said, When the Lord gives you in the evening meat to eat, and in the morning bread to be full, because the Lord has heard your grumbling, that you grumble against him. What are we? Your grumbling is not against us, but against the Lord. And Moses said to Aaron, Say to the whole congregation of the people of Israel, Come near before the Lord. He has heard your grumbling. And as soon as Aaron spoke, the whole congregation, they looked towards the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in a cloud. And the Lord said to Moses, I've heard the grumbling of my people of Israel, and say to them, At twilight you shall eat meat, and in the morning you will be filled with bread, and you will know that I am the Lord your God. God hears them, and he doesn't kick them out. Moses has the right heart too, right? He hears the grumbling, and he says, Look, if you're mad at Aaron and I, fine. Who cares? Who are we? But what you're saying about God is a real problem. And God responds by giving them quail and manna. He sends them meat in the evening and bread in the morning. He heard their crying. And this is important. They grumbled against God. God, you are wrong. You're not good. Where you're taking us is not good. As opposed to bringing their petition before the Lord and saying, Lord, provide for us meat. Provide for us bread. God was going to provide for them either way. He doesn't even judge them. That time will come. But God hears you, period. But what does he do? He gives them rules. Right? I will provide bread in the morning, quail in the evening, and only take enough for the day. I will provide your needs, not your excess. Not the excess things in life. And I struggle with this as much as anyone else. He says, look, take as much as you want. Eat till you're full, but don't take more and hoard it. And on the sixth day, don't even look for it on the seventh day. Trust me that it will be there. And so what we see later in the text is they go to gather extra, right? So they eat their fill, and they go, well, maybe there won't be manna tomorrow. So let's go hoard some. And it rots, and it stinks, and it gets filled with maggots. And then they're like, well, is God really going to not give us any on the seventh day? And no. On the day of rest, on the Sabbath, manna did not appear. But he told them, eat as much as you want, and then on the sixth day, gather. So he gives us clear instruction. If I want to survive the desert with God, I have to listen to him. I have to trust that he will supply my every need. And when they didn't trust God, even what he provided stunk. Why? Because it's not about the stuff. And yes, this stuff is important. They need it to live. But the wilderness is about us trusting and obeying God. Will I do it even when it's hard? God said, don't even look for it on the Sabbath. Gather what you need on Friday, because on Saturday, it's not going to be there. But they complained even about that, and they didn't listen. So we have to gather when God says to gather and prepare when he says to prepare. Notice, in all their grumbling, there's no judgment from God. The question he's asking you and I is, will you trust him? God heard their complaints, and instead of saying, Lord, we trust you, provide for us, which he would have, even in their complaining, he provides. But he provides in the way he wanted. And that's going to be very hard for all of us. We want him to provide a certain way in a certain time. And God said, I will provide the way, and I will provide the time. Will you delay your immediate gratification? Will you belay your doubt and just trust me? Because there's going to be plenty of moments in life when we've lost hope, we can turn our back on God and try to do things on our own. Do things in our own strength. Look, when you're in the wilderness, you could plow the sand all day long, and guess what? There will be no crops. You can plow the sand all day long, and water will not burst forth. We have to trust the Lord. Will I turn from him? Will I want to go back to Egypt? Go back to the land of our captivity and our sin? Or will I say, thank you for delivering me? And if you've delivered me from Egypt, and you delivered me from thirst and from bitter water, surely you will provide food when I need it. These moments should have been beautiful moments where the people of Israel would look and go, wow, the Lord our God. He is the Lord our God. That's what he says. I'm going to provide and you're going to see it. So even though we are to seek the supernatural, God still provides the monetary. Our food, our clothing, our housing. Part of the reason we can distrust God is we've built this society on excess. And again, it's not wrong to have those things, but it is wrong for life to be all about them. Right? If God provides my needs, that should be enough. Like that literally should be enough. And even in my case, where it's like, well, isn't your health a need? Apparently the health I have is the health I need. And if he wants to give me more, I will graciously accept it. I will not say no. But I live a beautiful life. And you too can walk through the desert in joy and peace and all the things the Spirit of the living God has to offer. Or we can grumble, we can complain, we can kick the dust and say, oh, I don't want to go back home. My God, why didn't you just kill me? God didn't kill you because he had a plan for you. And as long as we are willing to walk in that plan, he will keep providing. And we will see throughout the story of the Exodus, if I turn from him, if I turn away from him, and I constantly want to do my own thing, constantly want to pursue idols, pursue sin, I will find my way in a desert I can't find my way back out of. And that is why it's so important for us to trust him, even when it's tough. So I want to thank you for joining us and being part of this study. If you have any questions, you can email me at staff@newday416.church. If you want any more information, you go to newday416.church. If you want to help us out, you can give online or in person, or you can leave a Google review. It just helps people find us when they search for churches near them. So I want to thank you all for being a part of this lesson. Have a blessed and wonderful week, and we'll see you on Sunday.